alcoholic, and they went through the worst. They had to go through stuff. They had to go through children's services. They had to go through being molested and stuff, and they feel like it was all their parents' fault, so they still stuck in that pain, and they can't even move forward. A lot of people are stuck in a toxic cycle. But it's not until you start to learn how to get through the grieving process of your toxic experience that God can use you to help pull other people out. That's what it's about. Everything that we go through is not just for us, but it's to help other people too. It's to be a blessing to other people too. In this season of transition, God is bringing destiny helpers. And these destiny helpers may be virtual, or they may be, people you meet on the street or whatever. But whoever these destiny helpers are, they are to help you to get to the next level. So, Naturally Blessed 42, when you start asking God to send what you need for your healing so that you can move forward, He's going to send the destiny helpers. He's going to send the angels. Yeah, you're right, Naturally Blessed 42. You said, I have other children I need to be there for and be my full self. Right, because those children are still having your experience. So you've got to get you together, because you got to deal with what the trauma caused them, because children a lot of times don't talk when they're going through it. When their mom and daddy are going through the most, the children are silent. But that don't mean that they're not being traumatized just because they're not speaking. A lot of times the trauma and what they feel comes out later. And for some reason it seems like it comes out in the 20s. They go through childhood and teenage life. Maybe they're acting out, they're showing it in different ways, but they're not speaking about the pain. But when they get to their 20s, it's something about the 20s that they want to tell it all, and they want to tell you what you didn't do, and how you hurt them, and why they were mad, and how come this, and how come that, and da-da-da. It'd be in the 20s. And sometimes, so yeah, you work on getting through your grieving process so that you can help your children. Because your children, otherwise, they're going to be stuck in the cycle. That is the generational thing that the enemy wants. He wants to keep us in this generational toxic cycle where we don't love each other, where we don't love our family, where we can't talk to each other. You got one sibling that hate the other sibling. You got one still dad that mad at the mama, won't talk to the daddy. You got all that. And that's what the enemy wants, because if the enemy can keep the family bond, if he can break the family unit, you see that? See how the lights went out? If you don't think this is a spiritual battle, you're crazy as hell. If the enemy can break up the family unit, he's taken away the power from that family. Why you think, the people who were born in the 40s and 50s and 30s, their marriages would last 30, 40, 50, 60 years. This new generation can't stay together for a good 5 years. If they get 7, they get good, because the enemy understands the power of unity and the power of when you come together as one. The enemy loves everybody, sleeping around. Nobody wants to commit anymore. Nobody wants that one-on-one covenant anymore, because the enemy understands the power of two, or the multiplication. He understands what happens with unity. When a family is unified, they are powerful, and they can change a neighborhood. They can change a community. They can change a neighborhood. They can change the world. But as long as there is division, why do you think there's so much even now between the races? As long as the enemy can keep division, there will never be power. And if there's not power, then there's no control. But you have to be at that level of spiritual understanding to even understand what I'm saying. Otherwise, what I'm saying sounds like wah, 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 wah. If you're not at that level yet, if you still in in the tunnel, if you're still going through the wilderness, if you haven't figured out, that there's more to this life than what you see, then what I'm saying may not make sense to you. But if you have gone through a Jamie Foxx experience, if you've gone through your own wilderness experience, if you've gone through a traumatic situation that made you get down on your knees and pray to God, then you know what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? It's so funny. I think Facebook might have, because the enemy don't want me to say this. They don't want me to get this out. So the lights go out and my connection is lost. There's more to this life than what you see. And what Jamie had was an enlightening experience. Jamie came back from the tunnel to tell you what God told him on the other side. Jamie had an experience. Jamie had an experience in the tunnel, and he came back to the Matrix to tell you what's going on. That's right. That movie they made, The Matrix, was the most powerful movie ever. It's powerful. Very powerful. So, but there's more people, they're coming down for breakfast, so I'm going to end this. I'll probably do my music ministry and Bible study later on when I can be more in a private situation, but I encourage you to, experience God for yourself. And in whatever way, whether if you go to a church and start going to Bible study, or if you do your own little private thing, or if you, start reading the Bible on your own. So my whole Facebook shut down. That is what I'm talking about. And that is the spiritual, battle that I'm talking about. You just shut the lights. I'm talking to y'all. And the only reason why Instagram hasn't shut off because Instagram is not controlled by the lights or nothing like that. It's off my own phone, right? But here, my Facebook is being controlled by it's being controlled by this hotel and by the lights and by this. And so while I'm giving you this information, it shuts down. You can think I'm crazy if you want to. You can think, oh, she don't know what she's talking about if you want to. First of all, let me just say, I've gotten away from the whole horoscope thing. I really don't even deal with none of that anymore.